it's Angie. It's been a while. I hope everybody's doing okay or doing fabulous, one or the other. It has been a few weeks since I've been around. I have lots going on. Had a wedding, a graduation party, a little bit of health stuff, but other than that, I'm doing great. Keeping busy. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see all the things that I've been doing. Right now I'm been focusing on my jewelry and doing markets and whatnot, and I'm highly enjoying that. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I have. I used to do markets years ago, and I thought I was burnt out from them, but actually doing them again in a different way and a different setup for my booth has been a lot of fun. But with that said, I just wanted to let you know where I've been. And yes, I am still loving paper, of course. I have to have a shift. Is anybody else like that? I always have to have a shift from doing one thing to another. And I have a lot of goals that I want to hit for 2026 that are in the works. So I can't wait to talk about that later on. But today I'm going to do a tutorial. I've been going through my comments, and sorry if I haven't gotten to. There's a couple that I just saw that I need to reply to. Somebody asked if I would show how to do the simple ledger booklet that I did for gifts to a retreat that I went to. And so it was this video. So actually first, this is will be a DT for Tracy. Sorry for the glare, guys. Also, and I used the ledger kit. But this time I thought I'd use a different kit because she had just come out with this one not too long ago. And I'll be using the Collage Collection digital kit. It's super cute. And it's kind of like the kit that I used for what I created, but a little bit different. So I thought I would do that and then maybe add a little bit more to it. And you don't have to per se do it exactly how I do it. You can do it the way I showed it. It was a little bit more simple. But I thought that would be fun. And then this is what you guys saw here that we'll be creating. So if you want to go check out that video to watch it, you can go ahead and follow that video so you'll know what we're talking about. So you'll want to download that kit, and I didn't download the whole kit, but I did download several pages that I thought I might want to work with. These are just on regular copy paper, the extra sheets that I'll be using. So, and even that, I have a really good printer. I have an Epson EcoTank. I have the bigger one that prints out big format sheets. But these are some of the things that I printed out, and they still print out really well just on regular paper. For the cover, I did something different. I always print something that I want to look really vibrant. Like, so if I do my mixed media and I scan it and I want to print it out, I always print it on the Epson presentation paper. You can find that on Amazon, and I think it's on sale right now for 50 sheets for like under 12 bucks, which is really good. That goes later. So this is going to be the cover that I chose. So this is printed on that Epson premium paper, presentation paper, and it's a pretty good weight. And on the sample, which I don't have any samples to show you because I gave them as gifts. So if you want to see that, I will tell you exactly what I did for that, and then I'm going to tell you what I did different. So I printed this out on a regular piece of copy paper as well on my Epson, and then I think I'm going to back that. I did not back the other the original booklet, but I think I'm going to on this one. And this is, like I said, I'm just doing this different. And then if you want to, I had 2 pockets, but I don't think I'm going to use the pocket I did in the sample on my video because this is such a beautiful piece of paper and I love it so much. And you could even use this as the cover if you didn't want to do it the way I'm going to do it. So what I did was I folded to make the pocket to have it just one piece. I folded it in half, and then I took the centers, angled it, and then so it looks like this. Kind of like when you're making an airplane, kind of go for that. And then it'll sit in the middle here, and then you'll have your 2 big deep pockets. I really like that. I just was thinking maybe I didn't want to do that because I love this paper. It reminds me of like old vintage like late 1800s wallpaper. So that was just a sample sheet just to show you how I folded that up. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take another piece, and I was thinking of using a calligraphy sheet or a written on sheet, like scribbled. And I think I'm just going to fold it this way and then fold it in half again. And then I think I'm also going to, just to add more texture, after I get it all folded up, I think I'm going to sew around the pockets just to give it some more flair, another layer of texture. So that's how I'm going to do the cover. Now for this, how I did it in the video is I just used 10 sheets of plain white copy paper and folded them in half. I kept this gift as simple as possible because I had to make several, but you could add your different assortments of paper. You could use a tea stained, ledger, graph paper, whatever you want to use. I grabbed 3, so I have 3 of these and 7 white, and I think I'll alter them. You could also add painted papers if you wanted to just blotch these up with just some coffee stain, or just blotch them up with some color. You could also do that. I kept mine plain white so they could just do their own complete artwork on theirs themselves. You could alter these papers up, which is a lot of fun, and maybe add something like this in there as well, just to break it up, break the pages up if you wanted to. And then you're going to need, for the spine, this is just old, I have an old roll that I was gifted at the retreat. Well, actually not gifted. There's like a bin that you bring and you can pick at it that people are getting rid of. And so there's a whole roll of this old vintage receipt tape. So that was the spine. And then what I did is did I sew that? Let me take a look for a quick. I think I sewed down the edges. Let me look one quick. Yeah, so I sewed down on the spine here on both sides, and then I'll do the 2 holes and then add some sari ribbon, and that's how I bound it together. So this is a tutorial. I just wanted to let you know what I used. So I just used 1 plain of sari silk. I thought maybe a piece of old linen would be fun, or a piece of lace, or you could even use some embroidery thread, or you could probably add them all 3 together and loop them through the holes and then tie it up on the top here. I don't know. You don't have to go as far as I'm going to go. Like I said, this is a tutorial and a DT, so I wanted to make it just a couple steps above what I did. Okay, so with all that said, this is going to be a pretty quick tutorial, and then after that, I will do a part 2 on what I did with these. I didn't just gift this little journal. I also put their name in wire, and I dipped it in resin, and I did a little collage work for the top of that, as you can see in the, I'll show you one more time. As you can see here, sorry for the glare, guys. As you can see here, there's a little collage part, and then dipped in resin. So I will show this in steps, but right now I'm just going to show you how to put the book together, which it's self-explanatory for the most part. So you're going to grab your cover and then your backing, if you choose to do so. And you're going to need some glue of your choice. I haven't used my glue in a little while. I've been doing jewelry. I'll show you really quick. A side note here. These are some pair of earrings I just finished. I do electroform. I specialize in electroforming in copper. So these are copper earrings. Like I said, my daughter just got married, so these are some floral from her wedding, and these are lilac leaves. So these are real organic lilac and floral encased in copper through a chemical and electrical process. So these will turn into earrings. And then I got some garments and some crystals. I live by a park that you can go dig for crystals. And I got some garnets ready to go, and citrine. We've got some citrine ready to form into some earrings. And then I also hand sculpt shapes as well, and then electroform them. So yeah, so check that out on my Instagram if you guys really want to see what I do. I do more than just paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put this glue on real quick. Got a little bit much over there. I love fresh Fabri-Tac. Raise your hand if you love fresh Fabri-Tac. I do try other glues, but for the most part I really like my Fabri-Tac for quick grab and if you want it flat and not to buckle. And then I also ink the edges. So this is preference if you want to ink the edges as well. I just used Tim Holtz's inks, which I'll have to grab that too. This is drying. And then you can go in between the corners if you missed any. Then you're just going to take this, fold it in half. I always come through the center first and then go out. You could probably crease this so that the paper doesn't crack. I'm just kind of gentle with it and I like the texture. But if you wanted to make sure that you didn't have any cracks, go ahead and score that. And I guess I didn't have all my tools with me. So we'll just use my finger really quick. Okay, so then you're going to grab your ink. Okay, this is Scorched Timber. I really like this color. A lot of people use Vintage Photo. We'll just go ahead and make it extra grungy. I kind of wanted these to look not so much shabby, but kind of shabby on that line a little bit, like a little bit of shabby, a little bit of vintage, a little bit of grungy texture, obviously. I'm just trying to get rid of the white edges and just antique it, just or age it a little bit. Now I'm going off the cuff because I did these, so I had to have these done for May because that's when our retreat is once a year, and it's so much fun. I got to meet Gail. I'm sure everybody knows Gail just for Gail. She's a phenomenal artist, and I got to see a lot of her work. And I got to spend a few days with her, and she's so much fun. The ladies, this was my second year. They have it every year, and I've gotten to get really close with them. We really look forward, at least I do now, look forward to the invite every year. I was very honored to be asked. And Gail bought one of my journals, so thank you so much, Gail. That was so sweet of you. I didn't even bring journals to sell, but once they heard, they were so generous and so kind and so supportive. And I've gotten to just to know them and love them so much. So if you ever get to meet Gail, she is a little firecracker. She's super funny. I was a little giddy that weekend because most of my life I have to not be serious. I laugh a lot, but sometimes you just, Anyways, okay, so since you're done with that, I think we're going to glue on. So we're just going to fold this in half. And then I'm not going to do the sewing with you, but I did, so I'll just glue it on and then I'll cut off the edges. But all I did was sew up top to bottom on both sides. Sorry, it's been a while since I did a tutorial too. I do try to do some of the requests, so, and I don't do big, huge tutorials. Mine are the small, kind of get her done tutorial, so I hope that's okay. I'm still new at doing tutorials anyways. I've been teaching As most of you know, in New Mexico Art Journal, I'm teaching journals, which has been a lot of fun. Okay, and you could just use a glue stick. I didn't put too much glue because I am going to run this through my sewing machine. So if you do not want to use Fabri-Tac and you do not feel comfortable doing that through your sewing machine, go ahead and use a glue stick. You're just tacking it down because we're going to sew it anyways. I think I'm just going to rip that just to give it some texture. Then I showed you how I antique my tape. It's not really a spectacular way. I just do it because it's convenient for me. So I just take the tape off the roll here. If I can find the end. There it is. This is some old tape my grandmother was going to throw away, and I'm like, no. So all I do is just, this is vintage photo. I just lost the lid. Sorry, it fell down. I think this is vintage photo. But what I do is I just ink it on the roll. And then cut it. That's already, then I just cut off what I need. I try to do it the other way where people were tearing pieces off and putting them on another sheet. I was like, oh my gosh. I tried that and just, I figured I was just going to do it this way. There, that little tear there. But actually, I love doing that. So I don't mind some tears, and maybe I'll put a little piece over here just to even it out. Okay, that is where we're at now. I'm going to go ahead and sew this here, and then you might want to wait. I only put the tape on there because I had a tear, but I have a really heavy duty sewing machine, so I would put the tape on after if you wanted to or you didn't want to. I just did that because I had a tear right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew from top to bottom on both sides. So here and here, here and here. And then we'll go ahead and do this piece really quick because I'm going to sew that too. And then I'll show you where I add the holes for the binding the pages. So that is going to go in here just for some quick pockets there. You could also sew all your pages. If you have a really good sewing machine, you could just take all your sheets, open them up, and sew them up the center. All I am going to do is poke a hole here and here and then run the sari ribbon through and then just tie it up here on top. Okay guys, I will be right back. Okay, we're back. So what I did off camera is I just went ahead and sewed up and down on each side like I said I was going to. And then I sewed the pocket, and then we're going to glue this into the pocket. Then I took the pages like I showed you and I just folded them in half and then put them in here. And if you want, sometimes these will hang over the edge. You can go ahead, I just draw a pencil line, and then I take a metal ruler or a quilter's ruler and then just trim down if you want to do that. So after I did that, I opened all the pages up, took your ruler here, and I measured an inch in and made a dot. Sorry guys. Made a dot. And I did that on both sides. Whoops, sorry guys. Did that on both sides, top and bottom. And then we're going to go ahead, and I used the bigger hole on this big crocodile punch here. And line it up best as you can. I have to stand up for this one. There we go. So then you have the hole. And if I do add all that, the layers, I'm going to have to stuff it in these little holes. But this is the biggest hole punch hole I have. So slip that out of there, put that away so it doesn't fall down again. All right, so what you have is your little folio, or little, not folio, I guess it's not a folio, it's just a little tiny journal. And then you take your liking of whatever you want to tie your spine up with. So I was going to see if I could get all three of these in there. Do some texture and layering a little bit. And then the second half is more of just embellishing this, but this is the construction of this as I was asked to do. And then I'm just going to put it, I might have to get a needle, I'm not sure if I can get this through or not, because these are pretty small holes. I do have a bigger tool here that's bigger than my other tool. Make these a little bit bigger. Might need some clips just to clip it. Okay. And I'm just going to bring this up like this, and then I'm going to take the other end and do the same. Obviously you can trim some off after you get them through the hole. I just twist, and sometimes I'll dip my fingers in some water just to, hold on guys, it always takes forever for this water bottle for the water to get through. All I did was just wet it so we can just compact it a little bit, just to get a point on there, just to try to get it all pulled through. Okay. Obviously this embroidery thread is way too long. And you're going to want your ties to be long enough to tie bow on the top. Now this type of binding I didn't come up with this idea. It was just really simple and I thought of it. I think I've seen several other people use this kind of binding, so it's not like a top secret or anything. Or I didn't come up with the way per se, but you could do so much with it. And then all I did was just, I tied mine at the top. This is what I felt was just easy because I was doing so many of them. And to the subscriber who commented, thank you so much for your kind words. If you do decide to do this, don't feel you have to make it more complicated or add more layers to it as I'm doing. As you saw mine, it was just one piece of sari, especially when you're doing multiples. It's can be time consuming and you want to make everything look really good. Because there's more to this. This was just one thing that I did because I was using a kit of Tracy's, so I wanted to do it as DT because it worked out so perfect for the idea that I had for the gifting. Anyways, you don't have to fuss with this don't have to fuss with this too much. So yeah, you could either leave it like that or do something different. Just do the one layer. I just went ahead and did it just to add another idea to show you. Add some texture and layers to it. You can also bring down this bow to the center or have it at the bottom. It's totally up to you, but that is the gist of how I put this together. I hope you do like it. I will have a part 2 on how I did the collage. I have videos out there showing you how I do the dipped resin. If you're not comfortable with resin, you could just do the wire, form them into their name with the wire, and then whip stitch that onto your little collage piece. Or you don't have to put anything on here at all. But there's more to this, how I gift wrapped it and how I presented it. Part of that will be in the next part of this is putting that together and then showing you how I put all the pieces together, how I have it wrapped. So this is another tutorial I'll have out. I already did a tutorial, I just haven't got it up on YouTube. This will be a bookmark that will be included, and then there's all these little bits that, so get your scraps out and whatnot, start thinking about that idea. And then if you have any Amazon paper, I upcycle this paper to go with this gift. You can do that. And then maybe get some tags out, use this kit to create some tags with it. Cut some of these out. I'm going to use some of these pages as well for the final presentation. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first part. I hope this helps the subscriber who commented on how to get started with this, at least, so you can start making your gifts for Christmas. I did not forget about you. I was a little worried that I wasn't in time to do this for you, but at least you can get this started and get your gifts going, and then you can either stop here and do something different, or you can put it together how I will show you next. Stay tuned for part 2. Don't forget. And make sure to follow Tracy, and I'll leave her link below to this kit. Thank you so much, Tracy, for all that you do to make such a wonderful group. You do such amazing work. You're super talented. I just adore you. And it's been a pleasure being on your team for, I think, going on 6+ years now. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye. So sorry, guys. I was such in a hurry that I didn't take time to realize I didn't glue down this. As you're probably like, what about that pocket? So don't yell at me. Everything is fixable. I'm just going to take my binding apart, scoot this down, glue it, and then move, if I have to, move the holes a little bit, but I don't think I'll have to since it's not off that much. But I just wanted to point that out. This turned out so cute. I'm totally adoring it. Anyways, I wanted to add that in there real quick, that I did notice that, and I was like, bummer. But everything can be fixed, and it's just mistakes can happen. Anyways, see you later.